All right, today we're going to take a look at an organization called ARID Recovery Homes. And what's really interesting about them is they have this super focused, really powerful mission. It's all about one core idea: rebuilding lives, but doing it with dignity.
And right off the bat, you see their core promise, just front and center: addiction recovery and dignity. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That's not just some slogan, right? It's basically the compass for everything they do. It tells you that their focus isn't just on getting sober, but on how a person is treated throughout that entire journey.
So, okay, how does a big idea like dignity actually turn into action? Well, it all starts with their foundational belief. The thing that really sets the stage for their whole vision of what recovery can and should look like. And I think this slide does a great job of breaking it down. On the left, you've got the vision. That's the why, right? The big picture goal, living with dignity. Then on the right, you've got the mission. That's the how. It's the concrete, day-to-day action of offering a safe place. So you can think of it like this. The vision is the North Star they're always aiming for, and the mission, well, that's the map they're using to get there. Okay, so let's dig into that phrase for a second. Supportive living environment. What does that actually mean? Because it's way more than just putting a roof over someone's head. We're talking about intentionally creating a space that feels safe, building a real community, and giving people genuine encouragement. These aren't just buzzwords. They're literally the building blocks for someone to start putting their life back together. All right, so we've talked about the philosophy, the big ideas, but what does all of this look like in the real world? What's the actual impact? Let's move away from the principles for a moment and focus on the people, because that's where you see the real stories. It's one thing to talk about mission statements and visions. It can all sound a little abstract. But what does this support actually feel like for the person going through it, for someone who's right there on that path to recovery? Well, here's the answer, straight from someone who's been there. They said, with the help of ARID, my life was restored. Just wow, that phrase alone, life was restored, is so, so powerful. And they go on to say it was a great starting point, not just for recovery from addiction, but for their emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. This is what that supportive environment we were talking about actually creates. But here's the thing. Stories like that don't just happen in a vacuum. They happen because a community decides to step up and get involved. So let's take a look at how that whole support system actually gets built. And here is some real concrete proof of that community in action. Over $12,000 raised. And look, that number isn't just about the cash. It's a massive vote of confidence. It's the community putting its money where its mouth is and saying, yes, we believe in this. We believe in this mission and we are going to invest in it. So if you're hearing this and feeling inspired, there are a couple of really simple ways you can help out. First, you can donate online, which directly funds the work they're doing, or you can just contact them to get more information. Either way, there's simple steps that make a huge difference. Okay, here's the key info you'd need. You see the phone number right there, but I really want to point out that second bullet point. Being an integrated partner with the Niagara, Ontario Health Team, that's a really big deal. It means they aren't just some standalone group. They are an official, recognized, and trusted part of the regional healthcare system. And that right there tells you a lot about their credibility. So I think we should leave it with this one final question. When you boil it all down, after everything we've looked at, it really comes down to this. What can a safe space make possible? And for ARID and the people they help, the answer seems pretty clear: a restored life. And that's a really powerful thing to think about.